We are seeing more and more Muay Thai fights becoming 3-round bouts instead of the original 5. This is creating higher paced fights because of the elimination of the gambling rounds, or the first and second round where the gamblers can weigh up decisions. This is not really a loss, because those 2 first rounds the fighters sort of diddle daddle around and don't really do anything until the gamblers make up their mind, then they fight for the last 3. So this is like the traditional way of fighting. They used to just throw a kick, and that was the highest scoring points, or one of them, either that or an elbow or knees. And now we're seeing fighters like Superlex start to block with their arms and counter like with more of a, kickboxing style, because that traditional point system in Muay Thai is now going. Giving the fighters small gloves has encouraged the fighters to favor their hands or close quarter fighting. It's forced skill adaptations, as well as the fact that large knockout bonuses are now given, encouraging more action and sometimes more reckless fighting. There are definitely pros and cons to this, right? But what sucks is it's starting to favor certain fighters, right? Like Pitch Morcott was such an amazing clincher, which we're going to take a look at shortly. And Tamwachai is more of an all-round, kicker and heavy kicker, heavy puncher. So fighters like Pitch Morcott are losing opportunities to clinch because promotions are limiting the amount of time that they're able to clinch, and they're actually sort of getting penalized for it, and it's getting broken up quite quickly, as you can see here. Fighters sort of just stall the clinch and wait for the breakup. As exciting as these adjustments can make the fights, the question is, will we start to see these skill sets less and less? Like guys like Pitcher Morcott spent an entire life developing. The legend Sanchai barely lost in his career, lost to Pitcher Morcott, Yobicha. The killer of all styles is a clinch. Look here, Pitcher Morcott absolutely smothering Sanchai with this clinch, and it gives them opportunities to land wicked elbows. Boom, they just come over the top like that on the way into the clinch. But this clinch here, this is horrible. This is an art form. This has spent this takes a very, very long time to perfect this. And like I said, Muay Thai, Sanchai, most technical fighter of all time, probably the most winning fighter of all time, losing. And good offensive and defensive clinching is amazing to watch, just like we saw. Being on the receiving end of good clinching is a horrible thing to experience. Doesn't matter how good you are at anything. Being a Muay Thai, kicking, punching, being evasive, the ring's not big enough. They're eventually going to drown you. They're going to get hold of you. Look here at Yodwicha. He hops forwards and just engages into the clinch because he knows that Sanchai wants distance and to be evasive and move around. So he literally walks in, starts smashing elbows in, starts smothering him. It's like wet paper. You just cannot get it off. But it's still beautiful to watch. And look at him here hopping forwards because he knows Sanchai is going to throw that left kick, so he's hopping forward to block it. Having been like a purist striker and now an MMA convert, I feel that MMA gloves should remain in MMA, and boxing gloves in stand-up. The average competitor can win with a 4-ounce glove, but with a 10-ounce it comes down to who's better. MMA gloves are essential for MMA, but they're not essential for striking contests. Look here, essential. Khabib grabs you, drags you to the mat. He's about to pull Barbosa down, grab hold of his wrist. Of course you need fingers for this. This is why these gloves are in this sport. Mixed martial arts, MMA, essential, needs to be there. Does not need to be in striking. Why move Muay Thai to MMA gloves if the sport doesn't require them? Promoters think that it's to capture the fan base because people just want to see knockouts, but I don't really want to turn up to a fight and just see someone get starched straight away. I want to see a good contest, a good competitive fight of skill. We're going to lose the privilege of witnessing things like this. This fight here is amazing. The only reason this fight went 5 rounds of such, 2 high-level, skilled, brutal fighters is because they have the big gloves on as well. They have the ability to protect themselves. They have the ability to stay in the pocket and have better exchanges because their gloves are bigger and they can guard up. This is why I think the bigger gloves should remain in striking, because they allow for beautiful fights like this. Those MMA gloves, it's so hard to do this. It's so hard to stay on the inside. So if you haven't watched that fight, watch it because it is a beautiful display. And what do you guys think of this ramble that I just had? Obviously, I'm quite passionate about big gloves staying in striking and MMA gloves staying in MMA. Let me know.